Yes, there is a possibility of his party members and his family would like to pressurize the government to come clean on the rumor that is floating, because the rumor has been there for quite some time. And I think today there was this statement that these are rumors and there is no base to this kind of rumors. Those statement has come, but I think a pressure on the Pakistan army and also the Pakistani administration probably will allow the government to come clean. But also at the same time, we have seen, the sisters who were demonstrating, who were protesting against, not allowing them to meet their brother. We have seen how they have been treated.
So, what should be made of all the rumors that are doing the rounds on social media with regard to Imran Khan? Let's discuss that with our guest. Joining me on Global Pulse tonight is Dr Smruti S Pattanaik. She's a research fellow at the Institute for Defence Studies and Analysis. Dr. Pattanaik, thank you for joining me on Global Pulse tonight. First and foremost, what do you make of all these rumors about Imran Khan? Do you not believe that the time really has come for the authorities in Pakistan to offer proof of life at the very least?
I think, if you look at the Pakistani system, we are expecting too much that, the authorities should come and say that whether he's alive or whether he's dead, because I'm not expecting them to come and say, because they would like the mystery to deepen. And while at the same time saying that, there is no evidence, he's fine. But the question is that he has not, that his sisters have not been, or any party worker or lawyer have not been able to meet him for more than nearly 3 weeks. So that actually has created a kind of buzz around whether he's fine, whether he's keeping well, because he also has some health issues. So therefore I would say that taking all this into account, and the manner in which Pakistan administration, especially Pakistan army, because all this is behind all this arrest and everything, Pakistan army definitely has a hand. So I would say that they would not like to come up very openly on this particular issue, probably to signal that without army's approval, he will not be able to meet anybody in his family, because the court has allowed that for his family to meet him. But obviously there is no reason that has been assigned that why the government is unwilling to allow the family to meet him.
You know, fact is, ma'am, that Pakistan has a long history of its army generals jailing and in some cases executing democratically elected prime ministers. In this case, while no death penalty has been awarded to Imran Khan, there are all sorts of rumors doing the rounds about possible foul play or, even his death taking place under mysterious circumstances, even though the Pakistan government dismisses these reports altogether. Do you believe that Imran Khan's party, the PTI, and his family will be able to bring enough pressure to bear on the government and the army to come clean on what exactly has happened in the jail where Imran Khan has been lodged? And do you believe that perhaps this is a fit case for even the international community to put pressure on Pakistan?
I think, while replying to your first question, is that yes, there is a possibility of his party members and his family would like to pressurize the government to come clean on the rumor that is floating, because the rumor has been there for quite some time. And I think today there was this statement that these are rumors and there is no base to this kind of rumors. Those statement has come, but I think a pressure on the Pakistan army and also the Pakistani administration probably will allow the government to come clean. But also at the same time, we have seen, the sisters who were demonstrating, who were protesting against, not allowing them to meet their brother. We have seen how they have been treated. On the second issue about the international reaction to it, I think. There has not been any kind of statement, by any important power in the global arena to come and criticize what is happening as far as Imran Khan is concerned. You will see that most of the countries, including the European Union, which speaks so much about the human rights, and of course, I'm not calculating of the United States, the newfound friend of Pakistan. There has not been a single, single condemnation on this, that the government has not come up clean, and especially how the sisters have been treated. So it is not the question of whether he's, because there are many cases against him. So even if you get a bail in one particular case, you will not be allowed to go free. This is a typical tactics which most of the government follow. Number of case actually does not allow you to get bail immediately because you are convicted in many. So I don't have much expectation from the international community, because I think international community is very busy with what is happening in Ukraine, the Ukraine peace plan, the Gaza. Hardly they have any time as far as Pakistan is concerned. So I see a complete silence in the international community condemning, or at least asking the right kind of question, including the international media. Where is the international media? Only few, like for example, the Arab news and all, they have come up saying that this is a kind of rumor which has been floating for quite some time, and the government only is saying that these are rumor, not to be believed. But also at the same time, nobody asked this question that yes, okay, this is a rumor, why the family has not been allowed to meet him, which is a kind of judicial process, and he has been meeting his family for quite some time. Of course, there are many things that how Imran Khan is using that freedom to meet the family and the party members to make a kind of political statement.
You're quite right, ma'am, that even though one cannot really have any expectations from any Pakistani institution, each of which is severely compromised, and of course under the control of the all powerful army, but questions need to be asked about why the international media is completely silent on this, and Western democracies, the United States, European nations that consider themselves to be global custodians of democracy and human rights are, deafeningly silent on this issue. They certainly need to break their silence, come forward and ask the Pakistani establishment some tough questions, seek some answers. Also, how do you think New Delhi would be viewing the current situation?
I think, New Delhi has refrained from issuing any kind of statement as far as Imran Khan's arrest is concerned. I've not seen any single statement emanating from New Delhi. I think probably this is also, in a sense, good for us, because we are watching the process of, what the judiciary is doing there, how the army, as you were also mentioning, the 27th Amendment, how the army has become much more powerful. So India is very keenly watching, because not so much about the Imran Khan, but much more about how the army is controlling everything in Pakistan, because that will have certainly will have not just implications for Pakistan's democracy, but also implications for India's security. So I think at the moment, I don't see India coming out and issuing any kind of statement as far as Imran Khan is concerned.
You think that this is a wait and watch moment for India. You also mentioned there that you believe that this unfolding situation could have security implications for India. Would you want to elaborate on that?
I would say if you look at the 27th Amendment Act, especially the constitution of CDF, Command Defense Force, and abolishing the JCSC, the Joint Chief of Staff Committee, which actually is entrenching General Munir, Field Marshal Munir, in this position, because he is not only, see that when we speak in military, the terminology of jointness, like we have in CDS, it is much more for the purpose of having a kind of coordination when you are facing any kind of threat. But in this context of Pakistan, it is much more of concentrating all the power in the hand of a particular person, that is the Pakistan Army, at the cost of Pakistan Navy and also the Pakistan Air Force. So, this empowerment of Munir and his extension of his tenure beyond, already he has got one extension, and being part of the CDF gives him another 5 years. So the thing is that it is actually empowering Munir. I remember at one point of time, the Economist, after Rahil Sharif and General Rahil Sharif, when he was doing this flood rescue when Pakistan had the flood, it came up with a kind of title, King Rahil. That actually captured what is happening in Pakistan. I think one can go beyond and say that he's the emperor of Pakistan. Much more bigger than the king, occupying all kind of power and
Yeah.
entrenching. Okay, when you make an institutional change, it is institutionalization of army's entrenchment. But in this context, I feel it is entrenchment of a particular person for next 5 years, which will have significant implications for Pakistan's own command structure, because there will be many within Pakistan army who probably will be deprived of any kind of promotion when the army chief gets extension beyond his own tenure. And we also know Munir's approach towards India and the demolition of Pakistan democracy. So you will not have any kind of sane voice who will speak of any kind of institutional protection, because when you speak of institutional protection, you speak of judiciary, you are also linking it to the general rights of the people in within Pakistan, the right to go to the court, the right to fight the court. If the court is compromised, and also the political parties, especially the prime minister, himself declaring him field marshal, actually it poses a lot
Yeah.
of questions. So what kind of elected leaders you have? And this political party, which is currently ruling Pakistan, at one point of time had signed something called Charter of Democracy with the Pakistan People's Party. But look at these two political parties, how they're succumbing to the military, not just succumbing to the pressure, but I think bending over backwards to please the military to remain in
And
power
probably
forever.
ensuring that they win another term in
Yes.
office with the blessings of the army and Asim Munir in particular. Let me ask you this, ma'am. Now, of course, a lot has been said and written about the controversial 27th Amendment that was made recently to the Pakistani Constitution, which many experts said killed whatever little was left of Pakistan's democracy. Um, he was earlier this year promoted, or shall we say, that Asim Munir promoted himself to Field Marshal earlier this year, soon after Operation Sindoor. Now he's taken over as Chief of Defence Forces. Would you agree with those who say that he's probably the single most powerful Pakistan army chief in the country's history? And there have been some very powerful army chiefs in Pakistan in the past. But here's somebody who, has granted himself, it would seem, lifelong immunity from any legal prosecution whatsoever, while amassing powers on an unprecedented scale. Is he at least as powerful today as General Pervez Musharraf, if not more? Because even though Pervez Musharraf, became president, he had to orchestrate a coup. Asim Munir seems to have gathered all these powers without even a coup.
I agree with you. He is the most powerful army chief of Pakistan, and an army chief without any kind of responsibility. Like if you speak of Ayub Khan period, because he was the president of Pakistan, so you have certain degree of responsibility because you are occupying a particular political position. Similarly, in the context of Pervez Musharraf, he was occupying a political position after coup because he was the president of Pakistan. So here you have a prime minister and a president. If the governance fails, so the question is generally raised, uh, basically what the civilian authorities are doing. So he's not just enjoying the power, but doesn't have any kind of accountability to anybody else. As you said, not getting the lifelong immunity actually serves the purpose. And probably I think Pakistan army took a leaf out of what happened to General Pervez Musharraf when he was being tried in the court, where the army facilitated his exit from Pakistan, and he was in Dubai for quite some time when Nawaz Sharif was trying. Because if you remember, the Pakistan constitution continues to have any kind of coup which can be treated as treason. I think it is Article 6 of the Pakistani constitution, which was inserted by the government to prevent the kind of army coup. Of course, we have seen also it has not been prevented, and under that clause, Pervez Musharraf was being tried, which actually the army did not allow that particular trial against the former army chief. So therefore, the Pakistan army is trying to draw some sort of lesson that not just they don't have any responsibility in the governance, but they also do not have any kind of accountability. Because if you don't have a judicial process, then you don't have an accountability. Tomorrow, you're going to fail to discharge your duties, then nobody can question you, nobody can take you to the court because you have that kind of immunity at par with the president of the country.
Well, absolutely zero accountability, but powers really that are on a mind-boggling scale. Final question, ma'am, before we let you go. These are only rumors at the moment. Like I said, we have no confirmation whatsoever. But if these rumors about Imran Khan do turn out to be true, do you believe that we are likely to see unrest on the streets of Pakistan? Or is the army really in a position to crush any such protests? And it'll then be business as usual with nothing really changing on the ground?
I think if the rumor are true, then obviously Pakistan is going to see bouts of violence, and which the army would not be able to control. And by not controlling the violence in the street, I think that will delegitimize or at least put into question army's own image about controlling the street. We all know that yes, when you speak of control of street, we generally get into the police and other law enforcing authorities anywhere in the world, which actually controls any kind of street violence. But in the context of Pakistan, I think the anger of eliminating a leader which is in their custody probably will have a severe repercussion for Pakistan's own internal stability. I don't think the party people, the PTI, which we saw very surprisingly filing independent candidate and getting 100 seats in the National Assembly in spite of all adverse political situation, is not a party which can let it go without asking for a kind of accountability or without pressurizing the army or taking it to the street to ask for justice to be done as far as Imran Khan is concerned.
Well, we'll have to wait and see how the Pakistan army and government really handle the fallout of the situation. At the moment, of course, the biggest question is Imran Khan alive and well? And will the authorities offer life of proof? That's the very least that they need to do. Can his family and the political party, the PTI, put enough pressure on the Pakistan army and government to ensure that they do that? Dr. Smruti Pattanaik, thank you very much for speaking to me on Global Pulse.
Thank you.